Yahoo! Welcome, my beautiful brothers and sisters, to the Aquarian Adepts, my platform, our platform, to become your spiritual server. And welcome, Aquarius, I almost forgot which one I was on. Welcome, Aquarius Sun, Aquarius Moon, and Aquarius Rising. Or for anybody who just wants to hang out with the Aquas, the Innovators, the Geniuses, the Librarians, many names, right? The Aliens, of course. To your September 2018 report. Thank you so much for joining me on this video. And we're going to be diving into the cards and a bit of the astrology to see what is going on for you. Forgive me, I know this is coming out a little bit late. This is September 11th, and these will all get uploaded today, the rest of the videos. But we still have a good chunk of the month to go. There's still a lot to talk about. We're still coming off the energies of this new moon, even though the moon has shifted into Libra. Still very much so a lot to talk about here. So I do hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you find it applicable. And I do hope that it does complement your manifestations this month. So what is going on for you? Well, astrologically, we're going to be talking about these two lunar events, one of which just has passed, but we are still feeling the energies off of this new moon in Virgo, a very powerful shifting of our day-to-day reality. And for you, this is your 8th house, so this literally does speak to transformation in your day-to-day reality, where your day-to-day reality is really going to change. For those of you, anybody who has an Aquarius, friend or whatever like that, colleague, just be sure to just know that by the end of this month especially, they're going to look, their life is going to look different. Some of them may be leaving, some of them may be going off to other places, other countries, other states. So yeah, you guys are definitely being taken for this wild ride of transformation. This is also revolutionizing your trust in your day-to-day reality in many ways. It's asking you to trust your day-to-day reality more. And we also do have this full moon, which is coming up on the 24th, and this for you is your 3rd house of communication, the mind, your immediate surroundings, and this is going to be in Aries. This full moon is actually going to be conjunct the wounded healer in Chiron and be opposing Mercury at the same time. So this is going to be interesting for you because, as I said, this is your 3rd house. So this is going to really affect you to where you'll really begin to see the rawness of the people around you, and you really are going to be looking to how can I open up more to these individuals and trust people, my surroundings, even if they sometimes might trigger me, because we have to consider that this is a full moon, so emotionally we're going to be highlighting this area in our chart, or this area in our consciousness, which has to do with the ego, initiating things, action energy, and the personality and ego. So you definitely are going to be very tapped in and very aware of people's egos around the time of the full moon. And since it is on top of Chiron, people will be projecting their wounds on you, and you're going to be really aware of it. It's going to come out especially through their speech. This is why you got the new moon, though. I'd like to think that the 2 weeks between the new moon and the full moon is this opportunity for us to look into the future. For you, it's the opportunity to actually trust the future. It's the opportunity for you to trust your day-to-day reality. It's an opportunity for you to really begin to trust that there is magic in your day-to-day reality, and that you really can connect to certain individuals that do share your beliefs and do share your values. And this want for you to, in many ways, heal the world. Because Aquarius is the humanitarian, and it's one of the superheroes of the zodiac. If you had to think of the superheroes of the zodiac, I would probably say that it's Aries, Leo, Sag, and Aquarius. So it's interesting how you get all the fire signs, but then you get Aquarius. I felt like Aquarius is also one of the superheroes of the zodiac. And it's because, it is the water bearer. But unlike the fire signs, it's like Aquarius kind of knows that they can't necessarily spend too much time on one individual. They have to move on to the next, because there are other people that need to be given that water, that need that sustenance. But since the South Node, of course, is here, and it's still affecting you, of course, Aquarius, and now that Mars is moving to your sign, you really are looking towards the future and wanting to really establish a level of trust with society, because some of you have been wanting to give to society and be of service, but it's almost like you feel like society isn't worthy of the service that you want to give, because you kind of see these qualities in society that you don't really like, that don't really seem to be in value with embracing the authenticity of everyone here. The interesting thing about Aquarius, I'm spending a little bit more time on this part, but that's just because I'm being called to do so. You know, we're on the cusp of the age of Aquarius, where we're moving from the teachings of the guru to the teaching of the individual journey. Now, it's not to say that gurus don't have individual journeys, but it's going from idolizing gurus to hopefully not an idolization, because that would bring about, and it's going to happen naturally in this age, but this is about also recognizing the individual and the innovativeness of the individual and the creativity of the individual and how they can really be of service regardless of, who they are, what they believe in. So, like I said, this is a very powerful moment for you, Aquarius, for really beginning to arrange your day-to-day reality, and of course surrounding yourself with people that do remind you of who you are and your deepening sense of self-worth and self-value, and really looking to find trust in these individuals and in your life. So the card that we actually have, interesting, we have the card of discernment for you. I can't remember what other I want to say another sign got this. It was either that or I drew this card and let's see, hold on, let me look through my stuff. Actually, it's okay, whatever. But we got the card discernment for you, which is the frequency of discernment supports our ability to view the world and the people around us from a place of inner balance and detachment, yet with compassion and wisdom. This card sounds canon like you, because it's talking about looking at the world from this, like I said, of this place of harmony, but at the same time attached, to where you're not so much attached to the world emotionally, but you are coming at it from a place of compassion and wisdom and wanting to provide that for people. So this card is really speaking to you and really to what you value too. Because you got to think about it, your second house is Pisces. So you actually really do value spirituality. You value spirit. You value, because Pisces is a very worldly sign, so you actually do value the world. But it's like you don't want to get super necessarily emotionally attached to things, because then it could begin to cloud your judgment, right? So, and then not only that, but you can spend too much time trying to provide water for certain individuals while leaving other people maybe wanting you to provide some of that wisdom and stuff, and there are other people that can be left out to dry. Or what you can also do, Aquarius, is have a tendency to do this as well, those who do find themselves on the more humanitarian side, and not those who really try to detach from everything. Sometimes they provide so much of their services to other people that they leave themselves out to dry, and they don't know how to give themselves water. They don't know how to give themselves that emotional sustenance, that compassion. They don't know how to fill up their own cup. Aquariuses are very notorious for doing that. They don't mind filling up everyone else's cup, but when it comes to themselves, they can have a tendency to neglect their own needs when it comes to that. So what else is happening for you this month? Well, right off the bat, we do have the Strength card, which is the card of Leo, your opposite sign. So this is letting me know that you are going to be establishing a relationship with your strength. You are going to be gaining more passion. You're going to be gaining more, courage and bravery to really. This is really this month for you is going to be a lesson of radical trust. And the reason why I say that is because, like I said, this new moon for you is happening at the 8th house, which is establishing new ways of being, you're planting new seeds, and this is about your day-to-day reality. But since it's in the house of, like I said, of trust, and really these hidden areas, you're really having to just kind of let go and allow things to come in. You really are having to let go and allow infinity to really show you just how powerful you really are. We also have the World card here, which is saying that your world is really opening up, that by having the courage and the strength to actually be authentically you, you're going to really open up and really going to gain this greater view on how to really direct your life and how to move things forward. And this is really beautiful, considering the fact that this is kind of a preview into the next new moon that we get, which will be in Libra, your 9th house, which is speaking about, while the World card is the card of Capricorn, Sagittarius is the belief and it's wanting to travel and wanting to move forward into these areas. So it's like, in order to, of course, travel the world, you have to first kind of want to. You have to first have the passion to want to go ahead and do it and really believe that you can. So for you first to even explore your world, you're having to really establish this faith and this trust and this belief that you are strong, that you actually really can make it through, regardless of what's happening. The bottom of the deck we have is the Queen of Wands. So some of you may be dealing with a fire sign, either an Aries, a Leo, or a Sagittarius. But the Queen of Wands here is saying that that is wanting you to open up to spirit. It's wanting you to open up to this fire, to this passion. The Queen of Wands is a super passionate sign. It's a super passionate person who really does express who they are, and they express it in such a way that is, it's of course like a little bit softer on its edges than say the King of Wands, which the King of Wands can be, it can almost represent this sort of war-hungry energy sometimes, where it might use its cause, or it might use its the person might use their faith as a means to go out and create havoc. The Queen of Wands is really looking to where can we, still have this creativity? Where can we still expand and really begin to initiate more of these contacts with spirit, but doing so in a way that's not as chaotic. We have to consider though, Mars has moved back into your sign, and at least at the time of me making this, it's at 0 degrees of Aquarius. So as far as like when it comes, and Mars is the planet of war. So when it comes to this war energy, being at 0 degrees, it means that it's offline. It means that it's void, and it means that, especially considering that Mars pretty much moved to the spot right after the new moon, it was saying that this is not really a time to be thinking about how our differences can divide us. This is about looking at our differences and how they actually can unite us, right? What else do we have in store for you, alt Aquariuses? Aquarius. Month of September 2018. I'm getting the feeling that some of you Aquariuses are really about to shine super brightly and are really about to just start getting some really divine downloads via this age of Aquarius that's coming in. Like some of you Aquariuses have been wanting a very spiritual experience. A card did fall out, but I'm going into, I get another one. Some of y'all have been wanting the spiritual experience, and you guys are about to get it. And now you're going to kind of make a decision on what to do with this experience. The card that just fell out right here is the Ace of Swords. The card that fell out onto the chair is the Two of Wands. So it's really saying that, yeah, you've been communicating that you want to go on an adventure, that you're wanting to do something. But the interesting thing about this is that, really the opportunities are endless and that you really can go anywhere you want. The universe is showing you that. And the thing I like about this is interesting with this Two of Wands. There were two deer in this picture. And the deer is actually a sign, or it's an animal that speaks to kind of listening to your gut in a sense, kind of listening to that quiet voice. And it's also a totem animal, a Sagittarius. So your world will really open up if you believe it to do so. Like your world will really open up if you really believe it, if you really communicate it. We do have the Nine of Swords here, so some of you are definitely blocking yourself from your own success. Some of you are definitely blocking yourself from your own strength and not really believing and trusting in your own strength and your own value. Below that card, we have is the Five of Cups. So some of you are dealing with some sort of loss, and that's probably why you're holding back. Or you might even be holding on to a loss that you had in the past. But we do have two cups right here that are still standing. A lot of times what happens is that when certain situations happen to us that we perceive as negative, we really harper down and focus on the negative manifestations of that experience, and that's natural. The problem that comes into play is when we continue for extended periods of time to focus on the cups that have fallen over instead of realizing and appreciating the cups that are still standing. Take your time to, of course, mourn. Take your time to be upset. Take your time to really feel those emotions, the wide range of emotions. But when you get stuck on these emotions, what you do is that you create a dam within your emotional body and your emotional consciousness. Thus, you actually restrict the flow of this water and this energy to these other areas of life that become parched, that become dry. And that's not really what we're to do. It's almost like if you think of it as like a waterfall, right? And this waterfall provides so much energy and vitality and source for like a forest, but then it dries up. It dries up because we're holding on to something, and then the water stops flowing. And then what happens? Plants begin to die, animals begin to die, and we really begin to, kind of parch ourselves. We really begin to dry ourselves out because it's not that it's even not that we're being emotional. We're like kind of a little bit more riled up and really kind of hunker down on those negative manifestations or that which we see as blocking us. But it's actually we're actually needing to release and to just in many ways accept what's happened. Accept that I don't like even saying this really. It is what it is, but it's all part of the divine plan. It's all part of it. We do have the Ace of Wands in reverse here too. So this is speaking to whatever it is that you are manifesting this month. It is definitely guided by God. And you really are having to open up and trust. And I know some of you Aquariuses probably don't even like the term God. Or you might use the word goddess or spirit or universe, source. We can call it energy. We can call it a lot of different things. But regardless of what it is, you are being guided, and your actions and your manifestations this month are really being guided by that. It's almost like they're not your own. Like you're doing it all for, let's just say it's love, okay? And we do have the card of Judgment in reverse. So this is really about you not, judgment could be, of course, about, this feeling that you're kind of being tested by spirit, you're being tested by your circumstances and stuff. But this can also be like, don't really allow yourself to judge other people. Really come into this energy of like true compassion and understanding and empathy, to where, especially come the full moon, because that's going to make you a little bit more critical on people. But do your best, of course, to not judge, because we all have light, we all have shadow, and I think this full moon, you're definitely going to realize that more so than others. And if you're not careful, you may find yourself judging people. Even if you want to help these individuals, you may find yourself kind of putting yourselves in an intellect. Sorry, I cut off there. Like I said, is going to kind of give you this feeling of you're going to be kind of putting yourselves in an intellectual high place, and it's like what I'm saying is going to almost be like a double standard. You kind of are, because like I said, you're Aquarius and you represent knowledge. And honestly, you have such advanced future knowledge that a lot of people just simply don't understand it. But you are here as almost like a messenger of the future. In many ways, Aquariuses are time travelers, because you got to think about it. They are co-ruled. You guys are co-ruled by Saturn, right? And then you have that Uranus energy, which is about rebellion. Being co-ruled by the energy of time it really does make Aquariuses time travelers. Like, you guys really are time travelers. So each of you is trying to bring back some sort of information and knowledge from the future, and that's probably how we even reach the future in the first place. It's because it's like, oh, well, we need to go back to the past and make sure that these particular things happen so we can achieve whatever happens in the future, or we can make sure that this future actually is upheld. But there, of course, are multiple futures, and there are people that are trying to fight for particular futures over others. So, Eight of Swords. Release your binds. Release the chains. We get the Eight of Swords and the Nine of Swords. And anytime I see this, especially if the Eight of Swords is reversed and the Nine of Swords is upright, it means that you're doing this to yourself, Aquarius. You are straight doing this to yourself. And it's really unnecessary, because you are so much stronger than that. You are so much stronger than what you give yourself credit for. But we do have the Three of Swords here as well. So some of you definitely may be dealing with some sort of heartbreak. And maybe that's why you're kind of closing yourself off. It can, of course, deal with the relationship, but I almost feel like this is more or less just between you and Source. It's almost like life has kind of broken you down. It's like life has broken your heart. Because sometimes it's not just relationships. Sometimes it's experiences. Sometimes it's life. Sometimes it's spiritual things. Sometimes we ask ourselves, or we'll ask God, like, why did this happen? And like God can break your heart too. But it can be mended and it can be healed and absolutely will be healed. At least that's what I believe. We also have the King of Pentacles here. So some of you may be dealing with the Taurus, a Virgo, or a Capricorn. But this is really, like, I see this really as you finding a platform that you really feel connected to and really standing on that truth. And not pushing it on others in a way to where it's like adopt what I'm doing or else, but it's more like look at how much fun I'm having over here at manifesting. You can do this too. You don't necessarily have to do it in the same way I'm doing, but you can do this too. You can be like me. Not be me, but be like me. I'm going to draw one more card for you guys. And really what I've been doing is I've been cutting the deck and just drawing the first card here. So we had the Ten of Cups. You are filling your cup back up. Aquarius, you probably have been feeling dried out. You've been giving, and you are finally filling back you're filling up your cup again. This lets me know that you trust yourself. That you actually trust yourself to move forward, to evolve, to transform your life, and to really transform the people in your life. And this is going to start with your close proximity. It's going to start with people that you work with, your friends, your lovers. And you are simply going to do this by having having that courage and believing in yourself and having the strength to really stand on what you believe is to be true and not, like I said, perpetuating on others and making others feel guilty for not doing what you're doing, but to just be like, yo, I'm having so much fun over here manifesting my dream life. Don't you know that you can be like me? That's what you're going to be like, Aquarius. It's really going to be beautiful. There are, of course, some challenges and some self-doubts to overcome. Really, I see this as a self-limiting belief that you probably just feel like you are a servant to humanity, but in order to really serve others, you do have to serve yourself. Okay? In order to serve humanity, you do have to serve yourself. So what would you like tonight? What would you like to have for dinner? What can I give for you all this evening? That is it for your reading, Aquarius. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And if you would like a personal reading with me, beloved, you can follow the link in the description below to theAquarianAdepts.com. And always remember, my beautiful brothers and sisters, to keep moving forward and to stay focused and Yahoo! Smile often. Ah.